Hey, we did it. It stopped and it started again. There it is. Good. All right, so we're here. Anyway, how's it going? I'm Jeff the producer. Jeff the fucking producer. The original Jeff the producer. There's a couple of guys out there who make music who stole my name. Sorry guys, I'm Jeff the producer. I was always Jeff the producer. I will always be Jeff the producer in terms of bodybuilding. And I was actually a radio producer for many years before I even got to bodybuilding. But anyway, I should have stayed in fucking radio. A lot of things I should have did. But I am doing this because I'm getting bombarded by very important people in the industry. When I say important people, I'm talking about former Mr. Olympia champions, men and women, former New York Pro champions, former Arnold Classic champions, men and women, people who work for Warner Brothers, people who run supplement manufacturing companies who ask me if I watch this thing, who basically supply protein to everyone on the planet, including this guy's, that guy's old supplement company. I don't even know if he still has it. But let me just say right off the bat, I haven't looked at anything regarding this guy since I left in fucking 2015. So we're talking 10 years ago. And the only, was it 2015? No, 12 years ago, because it was 2013. That's when the whole fiasco started, which, by the way, to this day, Dave still hasn't admitted the real reason why he stopped paying me. You can't fire a guy that you didn't hire, first of all, because I never really worked for you. You didn't really pay me the right way anyway. Second of all, you didn't fire me, Dave. You got pissed off because of something that happened, and you just stopped paying me. But anyway, whatever. It all comes back in a split second, doesn't it? I'm getting bombarded. Have you seen the documentary? And I said, what fucking documentary? It's like, oh, there's a Dave Palumbo documentary. So I go to Netflix, I don't see it. I go to the Disney fucking channel, I don't see it. I look at all the streaming services, I don't see it. And then I said, wait a minute. We know who Dave is. He's a fucking ecomaniac. He probably put it on RX Muscle. Sure enough, there it is on RX Muscle. And he has a trailer. Amazing. So, I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, he, out of all the years that he's been involved in bodybuilding and all the years that I've knew him, probably with him for about, 7 straight years or something like that, maybe even longer. And for all the years that I've known him, we could probably make documentaries that last about 300 hours. And he can't even get to a full hour. And then I'm being told that there's some stuff in there about, some stuff that may or may not have to do with me. And they had questions about me. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I really don't care. Then they tell me that there's a cool song in it. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe he's going to rap. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to look at. So this is what I'm going to do. I've never watched it before. I'm going to watch it for the first time live on YouTube. I never go live. Maybe I'll make this a habit. But I'm going to watch it with you, and I'm going to stop it and start it whenever I feel like it. So, although the documentary is an hour, this thing is probably going to go for an hour and a half, maybe 2. I'm just going to let it fucking rip, see what happens, and whenever I feel like stopping and commenting, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, enjoy the show. I'll enjoy it, or maybe I'll fucking ask myself why I'm doing this, but here we go. My critique, in real time, live, I never watched this, of the Dave Palumbo documentary, which is not on Netflix. Sexy films. Oh! GH! No, he looks good for 95. Alright, hold on. This better not be the fucking song. Unless it... this better not be the song. Alexi, I just want to say, how you doing? I don't know who the fuck you are, but hi. Alright, I'm not going to watch Dave Palumbo posing. Be careful walking up those stairs, Dave, because we know what happened the last time at the Sharu fucking Classic. You didn't want to hold on to the banisters, so you slipped down, you broke your fucking leg. I heard that comes up in the documentary. Veiny fucking calves. Like I said, very good for a 90-year-old.
Be freaky. Every man.
Oh, Dave, what happened? What the fuck is that? What is that? Dave. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, I'll show you my left one. Here's my left one. Here's my left one. Huh. What happened, Dave? That's my left side. My bad side. Ah, there you go. Look at that. Couldn't resist.
Wants to be big and huge.
Oh, I see what he did. I see what he did. Guys, if you hear the lyrics, right? He's stealing. He commissioned someone, or maybe this is a song that someone already made. But if you listen carefully to the lyrics, go watch Pumping Iron. And what he said was, I have this amazing idea. Look, you know the way that in Pumping Iron, they had Pumping Up, Pumping Iron? What I want to do is, I want you to listen to that. I don't want you to copy it exactly, right? But what I want you to do is, I want you to just do something that's very close to that, because I feel that the people are going to respond very positively. So put some stuff in there about bodybuilding and about wanting to be big, and maybe you're a failure, but you came around after going to jail and selling fake GH. You came out of jail, you started a website, something like that. And then at the very end say, Dave Palumbo loves himself so much. So I see what you did, Dave. Once again, just like your Palumbo diet that you stole from two different people, you stole it from Atkins and you stole it from Mauro Di Pasquale, who had the Palumbo diet, which was really the first version of the keto diet with cheat meals, something that Atkins didn't have, and not for fat people, but for every person. And Mauro Di Pasquale has something called a phase shift diet, where you have phases of not eating carbs, and then whenever you felt like it, maybe like once a week, depending on your metabolism, you would have you'd either have one meal or one full day or 2 full days to refeed so that you don't die. So, another unoriginal concept by Dave Palumbo. That used to be on his wall in Long Island, where like where I first installed the Heavy Muscle Radio Studio, and it was up there on the wall, and I said, "Damn, Dave, you look fucking huge." You know what he told me? He goes, "Yeah, that's young muscle." Good fucking picture though. Everyone wants striated glutes. Striated glutes.
Shrink wrapped and hard-hearted dry. So damn big that the
I have those.
Sidewalk cry. Jumbo.
Oh, Jumbo Palumbo. Oh, you son of a bitch. Hey, go make a song that sounds like Pumping Iron, but let's call it Jumbo Palumbo. Jumbo. I'm guessing this is the song that everyone said I need to listen to, and they actually said it was really good. I'm going to tell you 2 things. Yeah, I mean, it's great, and the singer is awesome. I got no problem with it. But I find the lyrics hysterical, because I know where you got the idea from. Fucking Pumping Iron.
Oh, Jumbo Palumbo. Jumbo Palumbo.
Tai Chi? Here we go. Looks just like Long Island. Don't tell me you got the same
and
fucking
the heavyweights are on stage. This is what we've been waiting for. Dave Palumbo, 27 years old. He's up 33 pounds, he says, Sean, in 1 year.
Well, he's on the right track, and he's got the mass in all the right places. Now what he needs to work on is his shape and his structure and symmetry.
That was actually Sean Ray giving that commentary. He said, yeah, you just got to work on your shape and your symmetry. Oh, well. All right, here we go. Drinking from the water bottle. You know, he used to chastise me for always carrying around a fucking water bottle, and this guy carries around more fucking water bottles you could feed a fucking zoo with.
How's everything with you? What's going on?
Yeah, I'll call you another time. I'm recording. I have a guy doing a documentary with me, but I'll tell you, it's still, we're still trying to get a court date and everything like that. I think we're in a good position, but who knows? Welcome back,
dude. What a setup! So you're doing a documentary and you're so busy that you take the phone call and you leave it in, and already, the controversy with the court date, you must have planned this shit out, man. You're like, okay, I'm gonna start with the court date, whatever the fuck. All right, here we go. Let's see what show we're doing here.
Back to another exciting episode of After Hours with the Whack Pack.
After Hours, yeah. Here's what Dave told me back in 2008. When he knew he was going to get fired from Muscle Development, he says, Jeff, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a show that's going to be hosted by you and Jimmy Palumbo. We're going to call it After Hours. Me and John will be in there, but you guys will be the hosts. Of course, we start the fucking show, and what does it become? It becomes After Hours featuring the Whack Pack. The Whack Pack he stole from Howard Stern. So it was supposed to be the Jimmy Palumbo and Jeff the Producer show. Jimmy knows this to be fucking true. And by the way, Jimmy, shout out, man. Learn how to fucking call people back, please. And, we get there and you're like, what happened? We were supposed to host the show. I ended up hosting the show later, which was a point of contention because we were getting more views and we went live and he didn't like that and he made Jimmy Pletcher come in the fucking studio. But so he's still doing after hours? Number one, it ain't after hours with me. And number two, there ain't no fucking whack pack. Sorry.
Dave Palumbo, joined by John Romano, and the pack is starting to file in. We have Larry, of course, with us. In 2006, when the internet was getting so big, I was doing my own website. You got to understand, in that 2005-6 time frame, there was no place to go to get contest like coverage or see what would be going on at these shows.
Dude, yes, there was. Muskie Development.
Except my website. So,
dude, that's such horseshit. What are you talking about? In 2004, Muskie Development started covering all the shows. What? Huh?
Everyone would go to my DavePalumbo.com website to see pictures from all the shows. Like, I was watching, like, judges at the show were actually on my website, like, looking at the show. And John and I started RX Muscle as a website. Before that, it was more of like just a magazine. And I basically took everything I knew and learned from muscular development, and we applied it to that.
Okay, some clarification. He's skipping over so much. Dave, hi, I'm Jeff the producer. Remember me? I'm the guy that contacted you because first I wanted to be with bodybuilding.com because they had a much higher quality podcast that they were doing. And then I contacted you and I said, hey, I work for some major people over at Sirius Radio. And I also work at a fucking local radio station called 1010 Wins in New York City. And I want to help you improve your audio. And I sent this in the email, and you sent it back. Well, what can you do? And then I heard, the whole thing that you were doing with No Bull Radio is called No Bull Radio. You were employed by Steve Bleckman, and Steve Bleckman brought you on board because you were vetted for by John Romano. Because at that point you were a convict. You see, you went to jail for selling GH. I'm sure you're going to get into that. You're probably going to blame someone else, and you're probably going to say you had no idea it was fake, and blah, 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 all this bullshit. But you went to jail. You came out in a record amount of time. I wonder why. By the way, Little Dave says hi. And you wrote a book called Prison Physiques. And Romano spoke to you, contacted you, and said, hey, Dave, I got this great idea. Why don't we start a new section for you in muscular development? We'll call it the Anabolic Freak. And he convinced Steve fucking Bleckman, I don't know if I should take a chance with this guy. I mean, he is a felon, and I don't want that kind of stuff, but he is huge, and he does have a background. Oh, don't worry about it. If it doesn't work out, I'll take the blame for it. You fucking vouch for this guy. By the way, I'm going to say something. John Romano, you're the reason why I contacted Muscular Development, because I used to love reading your little section, or Rico Mactaco, and the little fake guy that you created and everything. And I loved Greg Valentino, and I loved Muscular Development, especially when they were in their sports phase and they got away from bodybuilding. They were covering guys like Jose Canseco and baseball. It was very baseball oriented, and they had all the cool stuff in the very beginning of the magazine because Bleckman built a fucking empire. So first, Dave came on board as the Anabolic Freak. It was an Anabolic Freak section where he would just talk about fucking steroids. There was a huge disclaimer saying that, muscular development has nothing to do with any of this horseshit that's in here. I never looked at that section. I never cared about it. And then he had a tiny little section called Prison Physiques, where you featured a guy, and maybe we'll talk about him, but maybe we won't, but Juan Morel. You featured that guy there, and you were selling your book that you wrote in jail called Prison Physiques, or maybe it was called The Perfect Prison Physique, whatever it was. It was a very tall book, but very skinny. And it looked like your old RX Muscle magazine they used to put out, the newsletter, which was very cool, by the way, because you had some very good writers. And but anyway, I digress. So first you were a writer, then you somehow, I don't know, you spoke to John and whatever, and something happened where Steve wanted to do more contest coverage, and he paid for a database of pictures. And he built the entire database himself. He built it himself. He paid for it. All you had to do was populate it, and you were going to the shows. You were filming some videos. He wanted you to come into the Muscular Development headquarters because you lived in Long Island. He wanted you to go once a week to meet. You had a problem with that. That was your first point of contention with this guy, is that you weren't showing up for the meetings. Then you did the podcast that basically nobody was listening to. But I found it interesting because you were choice number 2, because I said, fuck it, if I can't work for bodybuilding.com, I'll work at Romano. And when you responded to me and I listened to the show, right away, what'd you say? You said, I'm going to hire you. I can't fucking pay you. Let me like talk to Steve if I could get like $100 out of him. And I came on board and it was Noble Radio. And I had the intro because I changed the intro. Noble, right? You know, like whatever it was. It was like Noble Radio, bring a tear to my eye. And, you know, it's like, I'm not crying at this, little syphilis or something like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, so look. And so basically it was Dave Palumbo, John Romano, Jeff the producer holding it down in the background. Okay? That's what became popular. That's what started to blow up. And it started to blow up in 2006. And you're making it seem like you came up with this great idea for your website. And that's what, no. What revolutionized the bodybuilding thing was Noble Radio. You forget when I came on board. Go back and check, right? Everything was great for 2 years. You weren't paying me. You convinced me to leave my fucking job. I said, dude, you got to fucking start paying me. Wow, you know, I'm going to try to get Steve. So what'd you do? To compensate for me, you know, you're like, listen, why don't you leave your job and come work for me at Species? You hired me as the fucking warehouse worker for Species. I did a great job, but you had two people working for you. One of them was stealing money. I'm not going to say his name, Joe Goldberg. And another one was... I mean, let's face it. She had some issues. I liked her. I thought she was a nice person. But then she started to go off the fucking cliff. And you basically hired her to be a cleaning lady on the weekends. It's like, dude, so much shit going on here. So you had Species in the background, right? And you forced Bleckman to put Species in the magazine. And you didn't want to fucking pay him. So he pulled Species out. And you got pissed at that. So in retaliation, you started to slowly steal the picture database that he paid for. Okay? And this was around like 2008. I had no idea this shit was going on. I just know that something was going on because, you know, you were acting a little different during the radio show. So now we're in like, you know, it's 2007, 2008. We get to the end of 2008 and, you know, you're acting very strange. We get to January and you tell me that you're getting fired. I get a call from Steve Bleckman. You know what he says? I want to hire you. I want to hire Jimmy. And I want to start a podcast with you two. He also fired Lee Priest, by the way. We're going to get into that little prick fucking later. Because, Lee, I got a bone to pick with you for opening your mouth and not saying the whole story. So, you got to watch you little fucking runt. Anyway, I'll tell you guys, you know, the real story maybe some other time. But that guy's such a backstabbing little prick. No wonder why no one liked him. Nobody knows me anymore. I wish someone could help me with my website. I wish I could monetize YouTube. Yeah, and who did that for you for a month? And then you fucked me over and you lied to these guys about it. But I digress. So, getting back to 2009, you get fired. I tell you because loyalty. The one thing that I really like is loyalty. You know, if you're loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you. This is all the bullshit you used to tell people, right? I tell you what Steve tells me. You know, this is what Dave says. He says, I'm going to start RX Muscle. I'm going to rebuild the entire fucking database. I'm going to use the same fucking guys. I'm going to just copy and paste his shit. And then I want you to tell them what you would like to do because I'm going to have you be the guy that takes all the pictures from all the shows. You're going to type them in. You're going to name them. And I want you to basically be the guy that runs that. And I want you to be the guy that runs the podcast. And I'm going to start a new podcast called Heavy Muscle Radio, which I'm going to host, but you'll be in the background. And you're going to have your own show called After Hours that you're going to host with Jimmy. Me and John will be in the background. And I'm going to start another show called Muscle Girls Inc. with Colette, your then fiance, who was your current wife's best friend, but we'll get into that one, right? And you said you had plans for other stuff, like doing the videos, like you wanted to start something called Indie Iron Asylum. And that's when Sean Andros, one of the fucking nicest, greatest people I ever fucking met, that's when I met him. And he was the guy filming all that stuff, and you were the guy editing, okay? So you wanted to bring me on board. And you said, I'm going to pay you $500 a month. So you said. First month goes by. You know how much you pay me? Fucking zero. Second month, zero. I'm like, Dave, what the fuck? I can't pay rent. Well, I mean, look, we're just starting out. I promise that as the company grows, you're going to grow. I'm going so off topic. I just wanted to bring it to the point where you started RX Muscle because you're making it seem like that everybody was going to DavePalumbo.com. That was your fucking website. And like, come on, dude, you're living a fantasy. Fucking Muscular Development was number one. They were the number one magazine, and they were the number one fucking website for bodybuilding coverage. You had something to do with the bodybuilding coverage, don't get me wrong. But don't make it seem like that podcast wasn't the thing that skyrocketed you. Because without that podcast that you basically took and you started with me at RX Muscle, because I'm the guy to put the studio in there, RX Muscle wouldn't be shit because it wasn't like the magazine. And then you steal his... Oh my God, come on, Dave. Be honest. Are you ever going to grow out of this bullshit of being an egomaniac and not telling the truth? My God.
And we had no money. I mean, and we just started with nothing.
Let's start with the fucking no money thing. So he's jumping right to this shit, right? Okay. First of all, yes, it is true that Triple H came on board, and it is true that he was Triple H's trainer, and he also trained Stephanie McMahon. That was his fiance, I think at the time, or girlfriend, whatever, or maybe they're already married. I don't know the whole timeline. But we got him on the radio show, and you were gonna do a whole fucking series with him. You even got featured. I think it was in Musket Development with him, right? And don't make it seem like the videos is what made the website grow. What made the website grow was Heavy Muscle Radio, Muscle Girls Inc., and After Hours. Don't lie, Dave.
And I got 2 sponsors to follow me, and
I think one of them was Brutal Alchemy, if I remember, and the other one was ALR, right? Arthur L. Ray Industries. And I got a whole story about the ALR shit. And by the way, who was the guy that came up with the idea to charge him a certain thing? And why did Brutal Alchemy come on board? Because of Jeff the producer. Because they liked his impersonations.
it was like a clubhouse that people just followed us over there, and that's how RX Muscle started, really.
So how many businesses would you say you have in total? Or is it like projects in terms of like...
I have a bunch of businesses. I have my...
I don't know who this guy is, but I like your accent. Is this Alexi?
Palumbo.com website that I've always had, which I do my coaching on, and I sell other people's products on it. So that's one stream of income. Then I have my Species Nutrition business, which is obviously the protein powders and vitamins and all the stuff, all the formulations that I put together. And then of course, RX Muscle is the sister company to Species Nutrition in the sense that it's our media websites. It's
such horseshit. Such horseshit. Species was basically bleeding, and it was bleeding because you had that guy who was running it, stealing money from the company. Nobody was going to your other websites, DavePalumbo.com, and RX Muscle was your number one revenue generator. And you did have money. You had money from sponsors, but you pocketed it. And you also had money from other places, Dave. Come on, man. How else could you afford that fucking Benz and that house?
Something that people have come to expect. It's something in the industry that's a staple that people go to. They know when someone, achieves something great, someone wins a show, let's go see what Dave has to say about it. So that's...
Wow, egomaniac.
That's 3 companies. Then I have a snake breeding company where I breed snakes. It's called Palumbos, Pythons, and Boas.
All right. Someone also told me about this. And I said, I was there, Dave, if you remember, when you first got your snake obsession. You had a snake, and you didn't know what to name him. So you had a contest on the website, and we filmed a little video. And remember, you named him Blecky. You named him Blecky the snake. And we filmed the video. Well, you filmed it, and I did the voice of the mouse. And you wanted Blecky the snake to eat the mouse. And I said, let's name the mouse Diego. So I was doing the whole voiceover and that's when I saw, he's into snakes. Makes sense. Fits your personality.
So that's like another whole business, and it's another stream of income that sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Doesn't matter because everything feeds itself.
Everything feeds itself with snakes. No pun intended. We got a Beamer now. Used to love the Benzes.
I do this to myself. I could have woke up a little earlier today. Nope.
What time did you get up?
I must have gone to the bathroom 40 times yesterday.
Thanks, Dave.
Last night, I don't know why it was. Yeah, buddy, let's go.
Yeah, so what's the plan?
All right, as usual, I'm behind schedule, so I have to go to the pet store and pick up goldfish and crickets.
Oh, so you gotta feed your fish and you gotta feed your snake?
For my turtles and bearded dragon. Then I gotta go to Qdoba and eat some food, post-workout meal.
Bro, you have such a busy fucking day. Like, you're doing so many great things for the community, getting pet food and some more pet food for the human snake.
And then I gotta get to my office all in 45 minutes, which sounds unreasonable, really, but I need pressure to perform sometimes, So.
Dude, so much pressure. Living in Florida, driving a Beamer, getting up when you want to, and taking a shit 40 times in one night. This music I kind of like. Oh man, I feel bad for that walk. Actually, I hope you're right, Dave.
What should we talk about today? Any ideas, Mr. Cameraman?
How about gynecomastia?
Welcome back to another exciting episode of After Hours with the Whack Pack.
Wow, we're already repeating scenes?
I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by John Romano, and Greg's on his way. So, guys, what's going on today? Anything exciting?
Well, if Lee stops calling me, fuck him.
All good.
That sounded like it was Jimmy Pelletier?
I love you, Greg. Later.
Thank you so much.
It's Greg Valentino.
Can't get these guys off the phone. That was a long one. Nails are not that bad because I did most of them this morning. I have to ship a snake, which I'm going to prepare a label for my guy downstairs.
Is this a fucking documentary or vlog? I'm gonna say it again. I like this music. This music actually fits because without it, this shit would be moving nowhere.
Motherfucker. Fuck.
Brandon's downstairs waiting on me.
I know. Can't get this thing printed.
This is not a documentary. This is a day in the life. Unless, hold on, we got some time. I'm sure he's going to talk about himself for about 40 minutes.
Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Just refill the fucking printer. What's so difficult? It takes 2 seconds.
The printer actually works because I can actually print the test sheet. Yeah. Stress.
Because you didn't put the printer all the way in, the ink. But it's okay.
Just I'm trying to do too many things at one time. Yeah. Got it. Okay, good. Perfect.
Is it the only paper?
Probably just, let me see.
So the rush is because you have to get out because of the timing, or is it because you have to ship the snake on time?
No, because I can only stay here from 1:30 to 4:30 because of limited hours.
Because why again? He asked you a question, and you're saying no, because I can only stay here for limited hours. Why?
Because of the divorce
Oh, shit!
settlement here.
What? What? I'm genuinely fucking in shock. Wait a minute. Divorce? Ah, you've compelled me now. Let's see. 7 minutes. You should have started with the divorce, Dave. You should have started. Let me tell you how you should start the documentary. I'm going to help you out. You should get rid of this one. Just take it offline. Pretend like it doesn't exist. Here's how you start the documentary. With you dressed in a suit, walking out of court, pretending that you just got the final papers, that you just got the papers for your divorce, and whether or not you're going to sign them. Now, I don't know if at this point you already signed them, but that's how you started. You don't start it with the horse shit and, oh my God, I got to do this, I got to do that. Come on. Divorce! I feel bad for you. Genuinely, I feel bad.
I can only be in this building until 4:30. 1:30 to 4:30 is not enough time to get my recording done and my steaks done.
Okay. The shit that you do in that place, other than the, you said you had snakes downstairs or whatever. You could do the after-hour shit at home. You could do all the printing stuff at home. You don't really have to go to that place. You can install all that stuff. I mean, if you want, I'll fly out to Florida and I'll install it for you. You got to pay me about $100,000 to do that because I'll never work with you again. But that's a different story. So, what are you talking about? Don't play the victim here. You're in air-conditioned comfort in like a $100,000 fucking car. And everything is going well for you. You just bragged about your 3 businesses which are making money. And now you're like, I can only stay here from 1:30 till 4:30. And then the reason why you got there late is because you had to go buy pet food and eat. The only thing that I feel bad for you about is the divorce.
My wife and I are going through divorce. Terrible, stupid rules, but I don't hear no.
But I want to know why. Why are you getting into a divorce? That's compelling. Tell me why.
We're out of here.
Chasing heavy plates, steroids in his veins. He's breaking all the chains.
100% you stole the soundtrack from Pumping Iron.
Animal Winnie train test. Fueling the beast, staying at his best. Animal Winnie train test.
I'm not going to comment on the lyrics because I know what he took. It was more like 3,000 milligrams testosterone and 20 IUs of GH, motherfucker.
Fueling the beast, staying at his best. Animal Winnie train test. Through train test. Fueling the beast, staying at his best.
Look what a terrible life he has. He's going through a divorce, but he can afford lobster.
I told you I was a lot bigger. You gonna have a drink with us? My wine's coming. Oh, now I'm being surrounded.
We're just gonna take a pic.
Oh, Dave.
Can I get a booster seat? Hey, I need the other side. That's my problem.
Oh, you want to switch sides?
What a terrible time he's going. You know what? I take back what I said about the divorce. You don't seem like you're having any problems picking up the MILFs, dude.
This is always getting comical. I look like a sorry, stretch out.
I know, I swear. That's how I feel. When I'm married, but she's not. Oh, really? I'm just throwing it out. That was my sister. She dated a Palumbo. I never met a Palumbo that was
Motivate them. How old do I look?
94.
I'm not going to guess your
Well, because if you
tell me the first time when I tell
All right, so if I tell you, you're gonna tell me how old you are.
Tell me how old you are right now.
She looks like she's 47.
Yes, you right now.
56.
Okay, I'm so much younger than you.
She's 47.
That's cool. I used to live there, Long Island, but I moved here about 8 years ago. It's like I'm well known in the bodybuilding fitness world, so they're doing like a little bodybuilding and fitness world. I used to be way bigger than this, but this is a small version. Yeah.
Like this guy, dude, you're showing pictures from like 20. I mean, look, more fucking power to you if that's your move now. But don't be complaining about your divorce, because. And by the way, is this like cool for you to show all this stuff when you're in the middle of this terrible divorce that really sucks and you can't load your printer and you gotta go eat lobster and shit?
She said, I never did. She did. I'm good.
We're not gonna see if you pull them digits.
When I was that big, no one would mess with me because, I look dangerous.
Dude, the fuck are you talking about? No one would mess with you because you sold them fucking drugs.
I wasn't a fighter, but they didn't know that. But, you want to get hit by a 300-pound guy, it's gonna hurt.
Spoken like a true fucking guy who's never gotten into one fight in his life. Trust me on this one. You've never fought, Dave. To make a comment like that, the bigger they are.
It wasn't like, it doesn't matter if you're a fighter or not. When you get hit by a 300-pound guy with a lot of muscle, you're going to be in a lot of pain.
Bro, you're proving more and more that you've never gotten into a fight. It doesn't matter if you're a fighter or not. Go watch Pudzianowski get his ass obliterated. Go watch some other people who actually fought in MMA get their asses handed to them, who are like 280 pounds, 290 pounds ripped muscle, getting killed by a fucking person who's like 150 pounds lighter. Dude, you never had a fight in your life. You never even got punched in the face in your fucking life, right? And you've never gotten into a real fucking, like any real scrap with anyone. Keep your mouth shut when it comes to fighting. Unless you want to test it out, we can get into a little if you want.
And most people want to be friends with you when you're the big guy. So I
dude, you're the one that goes around wanting to talk to everyone. As just proven right now, showing off your back from 25 years ago.
Experience more of that.
All right, so this, I know exactly what this is. He did a movie, which actually came out very cool. It was him, and I can't remember the other guy's name. And it's like muscle Terminators, and kind of like interspersed between the muscle Terminator stuff. He's working out at the gym, and I know that there's a huge version of Jimmy Pilecki in this, so he'll probably show that. He'll definitely show that. He's not going to show the other guy? You're really not? Wow, he cut out the other dude in this fucking video. Wow, you're just cutting out everyone. Like, it's all about you. Jesus Christ.
Jimmy the Iron Bull Pilecki.
Of course, you didn't show the other guy that you did the video with, but of course you're going to show Jimmy Pilecki, because he'll come to Florida, kick your ass, show him.
Jimmy is living proof that hardcore heavy training builds hard, dense muscle. Right, Jimmy? You're damn right. You train like a sissy, you look like a sissy. Train the Iron Bull, you're hardcore and strong like the Iron Bull. Hey! Let's go!
Oh God, we gotta watch this. Let's skip over
Walking
that
around
one.
at 300 pounds is something that no one prepares you for. I would wake up in the morning, and I couldn't wait for the day to be over for me to come back and go to sleep. That's how tiring it was being over 300 pounds. And you break shit when you're over 300 pounds. You don't realize that you lean back on a chair, the chair snaps. I broke a car seat in my BMW.
So this guy first says that you don't want to get hit by a 300-pound guy, but then he just admits that he can't even fucking stand up straight. He has no stamina when he first gets up in the morning. Further proof, he never got into a fight.
Reached up in the back seat, and the whole the seat snapped. And that was, it was. I was sitting in a broken seat after that. Walking up a flight of steps, exhausting. 315 was brutal. Oh my God. It was, and I had to eat like 12 times a day.
And by the way, 315 pounds, and he never became a pro. He got beat by Tony Freeman.
To keep up that weight. I would make these shakes, and I've told the story before, but I would get a blender, and I'd crack 12 whole eggs into this blender. Because I was paranoid about getting some kind of sickness from raw eggs, I would actually put them in the microwave for a minute or so. So they were like warm and like almost turning, the whites were almost starting to form. So I throw those into the blender. I put a cup of oatmeal into the blender.
Oh, sorry.
A cup of apple juice to that.
1 cup of apple juice.
Apple juice.
Put a packet of Metrix in there.
And a free MedRx packet.
I would blend this stuff up.
For life.
We used to call that pancakes.
Freaky and big.
He made pancakes, by the way, guys. All right.
So
I have to move forward.
blend it, and it was mixing. It was so thick, it was like cement. It was like a cement mixer mixing cement. And what I would do is after it blend it up, take the blender, I wouldn't put it into a cup, and I would drink the blender.
This is nothing special. This is what bodybuilders do.
And the blender was this high and this wide, and I drank this sludge
Yeah, like 32 ounces.
2 to 3 times a day. And as soon as I swallowed all of it, because I could swallow anything,
You can swallow anything. Oh boy, Dave.
it was sludge. That's what it was. That was the consistency of it.
Yeah, he knows how to swallow sludge quite well.
I would have to stand by the sink and lean over the sink and not move.
All right, I'm not used to seeing him that small when it comes to legs. Like, even, the last I saw him, he had fucking huge quads. So, yeah, I could see he's not having a great time with his body there. So, you're getting 10% sympathy from me, Dave. Maybe one day I'll tell the story why you're not getting 100%.
Because if I moved too fast, I would throw it up. Because my body didn't want to hold this down. It was so thick and dense. And my saliva, I remember my saliva would start running in my mouth.
That's what happens when you take a load and blow it on your mouth right there.
I'd be swallowing it.
Yeah, swallow that down, boy.
I'm like, why is my saliva? Because that's the prelude to throwing up, if you've ever thrown up.
No one's ever thrown up, Dave. Wow. Is that really the prelude to throwing up, is saliva?
And I'm like, don't do it. don't throw up. And I knew that usually your instinct would be, let me drink some water. If I put one more, drop of water into
That's not instinct. That's fucking common sense.
my stomach, I would throw the thing up too. So I would just stay there, please don't throw up, please don't throw up, please don't throw up. One time I remember I was in a rush.
He knows how to keep down sludge and swallow it and make sure it doesn't come back.
I had to go try. I used to train these young guys, and I'm on the parkway, and all of a sudden,
Young guys.
the saliva is running in my mouth because my stomach is so full that I'm leaning over when I'm driving, and it's pushing on my stomach. No, you can't. You will not
Is this a fucking documentary or the beginning to a gay porn video?
throw up in this car. You will not throw up in this car. You will not throw up in this car. And sure enough, I couldn't hold it back this time. And
15 fucking minutes. Holy shit. We still got another 35 to go.
all over the inch. There was so much sludge on the windshield that I couldn't see out the windshield. I was like wiping it with like my sweatshirt to try to be able to see, so I could, because I was on the park.
Now I'm gonna fucking throw up. You're loading the gag reflex, so I'm gonna have to skip over this shit because I can't take it. I really can't fucking take it.
Which I eventually cleaned up, but
yeah, eventually you clean up the sludge that you exploded on your windshield. Let's see. Oh, let me guess. He's gonna inject testosterone.
This is once again a U300 insulin. Usually three to 4 I use a GH. Right at the lower portion of my leg, I'll swap it off. About 500 milligrams of like either DEC or EQ. I'll pinch the skin. It's just science. It's a science experiment. Go into the skin. I'll inject it. Of course, I can name all the anabolics. Give it a little wipe. DECA, testosterone, trenbolone, Masteron, Primobolan, Winstrol, Anadrol, Anavar, Dianabol, Turinabol, Primobolan, Halotestin, and then you got obviously our growth hormone, GHRP6, and all the growth hormone releasing peptides, melanotan, IGF-1, the long R3 DES. That's all I talk about on a daily basis, so I know everything. I think I'm a hyper responder, meaning that when I take drugs, it reasonably.
I mean, the GH will fucking do that to you when you're taking, well, now you lowered it to 5, but 20 IU a day, I mean, it's going to fucking make you pretty ripped.
Dosages, I grow muscle. But if I'm on hormone replacement, I'm on 100 milligrams a week, but my levels are like 1,200 on.
That's because you're not on 100 milligrams a week, you liar.
Blood work. I know people who take 400 or 500 milligrams of testosterone a week and can't get.
Dude, you used to tell people to take 1,000, and then when they told you it wasn't working, you know what you tell them? Take more. What a fantasy.
Get their levels up to that level. So obviously I utilize testosterone really well. My anabolic usage was never excessive by today's standards. By those standards, now back then people thought I was crazy.
Let me guess, 2,000 milligrams of testosterone.
My introduction to growth hormone was through a doctor friend of mine. Him and I were running theories by each other. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about combining this? And for some reason, they got a lot of growth hormone in there for the growth hormone deficient kids. He's like, you want to try this stuff? And I'm like, is it safe? He goes, it's safer than steroids.
I'm not looking at his fucking ass.
Back in the day, to achieve, more muscle growth, we all realized that when you took GH, for some reason it was hard to absorb food because it makes you insulin resistant. And then I met Milo Sarshev, and we both noticed the same thing, that we grew better on growth hormone if we took a little bit of insulin with it. Bill Phillips had written this book.
So I really don't take a lot. I just take testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin.
The Anabolic Reference Guide, and he wrote it was like a one-pager or something like that about IGF-1. I had a really good connection to some guys in Germany. Would you want to try this IGF-1 stuff we had? I said, what? I said, you have IGF-1? You have access to that? No one had that. I said, I'll try it. I remember I was stuck at 289. I stopped taking growth hormone. I started taking the IGF-1 because I wanted to see what it did. 10 micrograms per day for 20 days post-workout after my training, and I gained a pound a day for 20 days.
So that sounds like you're the guy that suggested that, who do you call it, rest in fucking peace. What's that kid's name? Because he was doing the exact protocol that you're describing here. So you're the one that actually suggested that to him? To inject post-workout like that?
And a lot of people don't know what a monster he was. It's no one ever really talks about it, or it's funny because he interviews.
The reason why no one talks about it, dude, is because no one fucking cares. He never made it to be a fucking pro. He went to jail for selling fucking GH. He came out and he screwed a bunch of people over, and he's not well liked. But if you go to the fucking, if you go to Google and you type in Dave Palumbo, all these pictures come up. Plus, he'll tell you about it.
All these people, and he talks about how big this guy is or how big that guy is. And man, Dave Palumbo was probably one of the biggest motherfuckers of all time. I mean, he was a fucking beast.
Okay, Jean-Pierre Fuchs, Nasser El-Sombate. He mentioned Milos. Milos wasn't really known to be like a crazy mass monster. Who's that other guy? The other guy you screwed over. Remember from Muscle Tech? And you lived in his house for a while and you started talking shit about him and Nasser. The fuck is his name? I forgot. He claimed he had 26 arms because there was a little ad that was in the middle of the muscle magazines. I can't think of his name. But and I'll actually throw King Kamali in there. He came a little bit later, but and of course we got Ronnie Coleman, who that one year was a complete mass monster. By the way, these are all pros. And let's see, I'm trying to think of some other people. I mean, obviously, now you have Hadians and like some other guys. But yeah, it's like don't make it seem like he was the biggest guy in bodybuilding. He wasn't. He weighed the most, but muscular-wise, he was not the biggest. There's some other guys like I just mentioned, and plenty more. But, hey, if you want to live a fantasy life... By the way, I don't know who's talking. I don't know why you didn't give him credit.
This is the picture of the girl. Yeah, they're showing.
Oh, my God.
Even like my back, and you can't hide.
This guy used to talk all the time about Steve Blackman. Oh, striated glutes. Let me tell you something. I was with every fucking show that like RX Muscle covered from February 2009 until late 2013. This guy would have clients, Dave Palumbo. The only thing he's concerned about with any male client, glutes, flex your glutes. He would scream it from the fucking seat. It would like echo throughout the stretch your glutes, stretch your glutes. And he's always talking about Blackman. This is now the third time in this fucking video that he's forcing us to stare at his ass. I had to skip over it because I'm not going to look at his ass again. Which, by the way, that's not even the most ripped fucking ass that he had. But he loves telling everyone about it. He loves showing it off. So, if one of his clients didn't win a show because they didn't have the right body type, because they were deficient in some area, they had small arms, they were off balance, kind of like Dave Palumbo, he would say, I don't know why he didn't win. He had the most ripped glutes. And to me, ripped glutes is a sign of being in shape. So ripped abs, ripped chest, ripped back, ripped lower back, which is one of the hardest areas to fucking get. Basically an 18-pack when like you have the obliques. Striations in your fucking hamstrings, in your fucking calves, and in your forearms. Veins running all over the place. No. If you don't have striated glutes, then you're not in shape.
Remove a little lipoma. If I looked at the other pictures from the show, I would be like, oh, I was flat, I was over dieted, I lost muscle here.
Loves looking at himself, but I could skip over that.
Dry, like hard to really hear I'm here. So if I'm here, he's so wide that it doesn't matter what his waist size is because his taper is good. So it's an illusion bodybuilding. The lighting was perfect here. Not only did I look freaky hard, but I was...
Why do you show us a front double biceps, Dave? You never show us a front double biceps. You love showing the most muscular shots. You love showing the back shots. You'll do a rear most muscular, but why don't you show us a front most muscular? Notice he never shows that. I wonder why.
I look really big here too. I love the way my arms look here. I like the way my chest looks.
He loves himself. He loves the way he looks.
Abs are really well defined. You can see the
front double biceps.
Crazy separation between my glutes and my quads.
You can't even see the fucking glutes in this picture. But like I said, he can't stop talking about the fucking glutes.
There was nothing that really needed improvement here.
This guy is so delusional. If you look at him posing on stage and actually throwing up a front fucking double biceps, you will see he has arm deficiency. You will see how off balance. He has a bloated gut that hangs over his fucking posing trunks, okay? Shredded to shit, muscular, but the guy looked like a fucking mutant. He looked like a mutant. Cro-Magnon, okay? And they will call, there's a phrase for it. Go to Google. It's called Palumboism. And this is why he never won. This is why he never got his fucking pro card. Like, he's so fucking delusional.
Look at what I achieved. I mean, this is it. That's the best that my physique could be.
No, you got too big when you went to 315 and you got obsessed.
There's nothing really better that I could do than that. If I keep going, I'm just going to look worse.
Unbelievable. No front double biceps. Guys, I urge you, Google Dave Palumbo, front double biceps. You'll see what I'm talking about. And also type in Palumboism. Palumboism. Oh, he did it! Yes! I never saw this. Like, how fucking funny is this? I am so fucking... Now that he's going to address all the issues, I want to see what he says. Well, they're all jealous of me because they're talking shit. I was very self-conscious of this. I can't believe he actually typed it in. This is great.
Video, we're going to count down to the top.
There's the front double biceps.
5 worst cases of Palumboism.
It's called Palumboism.
And actually the term comes from an ex-bodybuilder. His name is Dave Palumbo.
Now, Palumboism refers to a large, protruding, and disproportional gut, which also makes the limbs and extremities look small.
As Palumboism.
He was talking about Palumboism. Palumboism? Palumboism.
Of course, he's going to show this guy. And he's an internet legend. But he's not going to show all the valid proof of people actually showing real pictures and having real discussions. He's going to show all the misfits and all the people who he's going to consider an idiot, even though, you know, I mean, I don't particularly think that Derek is an expert, but when I see that guy come up when he starts talking about Palumboism, at least Derek reads the forums and he reads the shit, and he's not going to change anything. He'll claim that he knew it even though he didn't. But it's so funny how he's only bringing up these people, and he's going to show people who are complete misfits, and he'll try to discredit everyone because that's the way he is. He's a narcissist, full-blown narcissist.
And also Palumboism.
Sam, can you ask Lee's view on Palumboism?
Bloated bellies.
Yeah, there's a huge debate, and like, what is that? You know,
What is it?
I don't know.
The whole Palumboism thing came about because what had started happening in a lot of bodybuilders was, and I think you saw it in me more maybe so than other people because I was the biggest guy. I hate that picture. The reason I don't like this picture
because you're completely out of balance. It's not only the gut, you have no fucking arms, and you're going to tell everyone that you have huge arms, but the reason why you got your arms huge is not because you had a secret fucking workout routine. It's not because you took IGF-1, even though later you took R3, right? It's because you injected your arms with synthol because you wanted to make them big. Because no matter what you did, you didn't have the genetics to get them bigger. So then you put synthol on your biceps, synthol on your fucking arms, and you start using synthol all over your fucking body. And you develop scar tissue. And this is what destroyed your fucking physique. Along with the insulin on top of the GH, on top of the IGF-1. Jesus Christ.
And it's kind of out of context.
How can a front double biceps be out of context? It's one of the premier poses in all of bodybuilding. I'm tongue-tied. I can't believe this bullshit.
Because it was one of those ones where I couldn't externally rotate.
You just externally rotated your fucking arms.
My arms, so I would contort my body in weird things, and that's why sometimes you see these fun.
Dude, look at your left tricep. Look at right here. I'm gonna point it out. Look at this. You see that right there? That's a fucking injection needle. Dude, right? Look at this. This is what this is. You injected your fucking lats. You injected maybe you injected your fucking abs too. I don't know. You're crazy. You're having no problem in this picture externally rotating your fucking arms. It's not because your back was so big you couldn't do it. How the fuck does Ronnie Coleman do it? How does the guy who beat you, Tony Freeman, does it? He was a big fucking dude. Stop it. See, I knew it's always, with Dave, there's always a fucking caveat. He will say, well, that's true, but that person's a fucking liar. Or that's true, but the reason why it looks like this is because it's out of context. Classic Dave Palumbo. Never, ever, ever admitting that he looks like shit.
Weird videos of me, a weird picture.
How is it a weird video when that is the standard? That might be Tony Freeman.
Of me like it.
No, it's not. That was Paul Dillett, actually. By the way, that's another guy who weighed 300 fucking pounds, shredded, and notice how he didn't allow the camera to go over because I was the biggest guy out there, and that's why I had a gut. If you go to Paul Dillett, no fucking gut. He looked amazing. There was no problem with his fucking physique. He trained with Lee Priest, by the way. You prick. And not a Paul Dillett, but Lee Priest, you prick. And again, this is what Dave does. He does it with everything. Never admit you're fucking wrong. Blame someone else and say all the people fucking do it. They're doing it to make you look bad. The video is of a fucking bodybuilding competition using standard poses with a standard camera that everyone is exposed to. The front double biceps is the main one of the main poses, most popular poses in all of bodybuilding. And you're saying that's out of context? Dude, you look like shit. That's why you never got your fucking pro card. Stop it.
In a walker position, it was because I was in so much pain trying to bring my arm.
Dude, everyone on that fucking stage is in pain. You want to know why? They're dehydrated. They probably have a fucking injury that they're trying to mask. They all fucking inject all types of shit. They're weak. They're fucking tired. They have no carbohydrates. And they feel like passing out. They're on diuretics. Another thing you're not talking about. Everyone's in pain. Everyone feels like shit. Dude. Oh my God.
Arms back. Get my arms to here. And then I would lean my body backwards. Like to get into the...
Dude, you are not leaning backwards in that pose. You are fucking straight up. Your chest is fucking out and your arms are up. Stop it.
A double bicep position, but it would throw my stomach and waist.
Does that look like a guy leaning fucking back? Does this look like he's leaning fucking back here? Okay, he's not leaning back. Because if he's leaning back, he'd fall over because he has one fucking leg up. So if he was leaning back, he would tip over on this fucking leg. Basic leverage, Dave. Cut the bullshit. Look at this fucking gut. This shit is coming out. Look at that fucking injection mark in his left tricep. Right? Look at that huge right bicep and lack of triceps. He used to tell me that I had no fucking triceps. Because, I was known for having the big arms, but I had huge biceps and huge triceps. I still got them. They're not fucking, 22 inches, but that shit is so fucking out of balance. He's telling me, like, he has practically flat triceps on his right side, and his left he has an injection mark, and look, it's fucking pulled over here. All types of fucking injuries and fucking stupidity. He is so fucking delusional. It is incredible. Unbelievable, Dave. Come on, man.
Forward. As we got bigger and bigger, we had so much muscle that it didn't have any place to go after a while. I did well in the show.
Dude, it was you and like 3 or 4 other people that had the fucking gut. Not 50. Just you and a few other people.
It was a bad pose and a bad picture.
Unfucking believable. It's a front double biceps. It is a perfect picture of you. That's how you really looked. He just can't fucking admit that he looks like shit.
Now, think about this. If you have a very short torso, which I do, and it's just a weird angle with weird light. The shorter your torso, the more...
Just making it... Oh, there he is. Oh, look at the hand holding right there. This is fucking Tony Freeman. So he's comparing himself to Tony Freeman. All right. Dave Palumbo is about 5'10". He does not have a shorter fucking torso. He has a normal sized torso. He's comparing himself to Tony Freeman, who I believe is 6'2". What he's not showing you is how much more proportion. You can see it in this picture. Look at this shit over here. Look at this fucking waist. Look at this little protruding belly. Look at this flat stomach. Look at this. Look at the tricep coming. He's not even flexing his fucking tricep, right? But you can still see the fucking shape and make it out. Look at his fucking shoulder roundness, right? I mean, everything. Look at his fucking chest. Now look at this dude. What, was this also a bad angle when you decided to grab Tony Freeman's fucking hand? So this is, I don't know, I can't remember which contest it was. It wasn't the USA's, right? It was the Nationals, I think, maybe. But anyway, he comes in second to Tony Freeman, and then he ends up training with Tony Freeman. And I had a lot of good conversations with Tony. He's a great guy, and he has a very unique way of training that works. And that's all I got to say about this.
The muscle you have, it kind of has nowhere to go. It kind of balloons out.
Then how come Tony Freeman doesn't have this fucking problem?
At the waistline. And you have a short torso, so it's not...
That's like the 5th time he said short torso. He does not have a short torso. He has Palumboism.
And all this muscle is distributed over a short period of space. You get this ballooning effect. For some reason, I don't...
You get this ballooning effect when you take IGF-1, insulin, growth hormone, on top of 3,000 milligrams of fucking testosterone, multiple milligrams of God knows what the fuck else you took, because we know that you're leaving a lot of shit out of there, and all of your experimental shit, and synthol. That's another fucking thing. Synthol is not just local when you inject it. It will get systemically fucking metabolized. You know this, Dave. I mean, you sold pump and pose oil, right? No, I'm sorry. Or was it Essaclean on Species? I should know. I worked in the fucking warehouse. I saw you ship them out.
The way the light was hitting my face. And
used to put it into your suitcase when we used to travel. I guess that was for someone else, right?
Face was like too dark. So if you have a lot of dead...
It's not that your face was too dark. Your tan was fine. You were standing next to Tony Freeman. It's that your teeth were so fucking white, you look like a fucking moron.
It's abdominal.
You have beautiful teeth, Dave.
Musculature, you get that almost that belly. And I think what happens also in people who need to eat a lot of food.
Oh, is that what it is? Because you ate 12 times a day and the stomach came out? Well, when you're dieting, you don't have to eat that much. Stop it. Palumboism.
Because they have fast metabolism like myself. You saw no one was eating more food every day than I was. It's just a weird angle.
No one did anything like Dave Palumbo ever. Narcissist.
Picture you, it just doesn't look that good. I think what happens is your stomach starts getting stretched out, almost like a pregnant woman, and the fashion that...
Oh, please look. All right. Look at this. Look at that. Bodybuilder, great genetics. Bodybuilder, no genetics.
Holds the abdominal muscles in.
Oh my God, he wants to kiss him.
There's too much give there. And that's why some people get that little balloon belly, or if people want to call it Palumboism. Everyone has it, okay?
Everyone does not. I don't have Palumboism. The fuck are you talking about? Everyone has it? Holy shit. Delusion.
Everyone has a lot of musculature. It's just how it's distributed.
Oh, okay. Oof. Thank God. Now we're going to use... this is the second time in this the third time that we're seeing a shot reused. Where are we at? 23 fucking minutes. Oh, God. 30 minutes to go. By the way, I'm live. It is 4:38 p.m. Am I still fucking streaming? Yeah, I'm still here. Fantastic. Oh, here we go. Where are we? There we are.
Front double biceps. Side check.
All right, let's see.
And relax.
Yeah, he's lean. He's always lean. And that's what happens when you take a shitload of GH.
Deep bowl and trend.
He looks very old.
Deep bowl all day.
He actually didn't like D-ball.
Sickening Skittles all day long, being huge is my
The black
song.
screen. This is my favorite part of the vlog documentary. This black screen. Shit. Is that a dog? Holy shit. One time, me and Sean Andrews, it was me, Sean Andrews, and Dave. And Dave was in the front seat. Sean Andrews was driving. I was in the back seat coming back from a show. I think we were coming back from the Jay Cutler Classic. One of them. He has 2 shows a year. Well, he used to have 2 shows a year in Boston. So we're driving from Boston to Long Island. And Sean Andrews was driving because Dave was too tired. So he fell asleep in the front seat. And so, me and Sean are just laughing at this fucking noise that's coming from the front seat. It's Dave, right? And Sean, for a split second, looks up in the rearview mirror, and I look at him, and we're laughing, and I said, "Oh shit, Sean, there's a car!" So he slams the fucking brakes, and Dave was like passed out. Oh, what the fuck is that? It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, one of the funniest things. I've seen a lot of funny shit with Dave, but that was one of the best. He came out of this like, "Oh my God, what the fuck, we're gonna die." All right, let's see if I remember correctly. We're definitely going to get a lot of chicken. Let's see if he's going to buy his maca still. He loves buying kale. I'm pretty sure there's Whole Foods. Walmart! Oh, turkey burgers.
This one actually has, if you read the ingredients, sometimes
they have rosemary.
It's not only turkey. So this is turkey breast. This has got some rosemary, which is
Fine. Atlantic salmon, this I guarantee is probably farm raised.
Do you avoid the farm raised?
I try, but when you go to a store, you're gonna get farm raised. The chili ones are always farm raised, and this is a wild caught. Look at the difference in color.
Not that much of a difference, Dave. He's gonna get his fucking kale. Surprised he didn't get any chicken.
I've never seen 96% lean ground beef. This is extra lean ground beef. I've never seen this. So I'm now gonna have to come here on a regular basis to get the beef, because the beef is usually like 90% or 89, 88. That's pretty good. The yolks are bigger, which means you get more omega-3 fats. I'm buying the eggs for the fats. Most people buy it for the protein. I'm buying it for the fat.
Oh, that was quite uneventful. Thought we were going to see a little more. He always loves driving white cars.
It's just going to be, you might be a little sore. I don't know. I've never used that brand, so I don't know. Do you need it? Do you need anything? To be honest with you, I have no idea how many clients I have. I've never counted them up. Yeah, as long as you don't use it. If you do it the way I said to do it. And some of them are competitive bodybuilders. Some are just regular people who want to be transformation. If it hurts, just take like 2 Tylenol. That's what I used to do with the other brands.
This fucking take 2 Tylenol and call me in the morning shit. He has ruined more fucking livers from bodybuilders by telling them to take Tylenol, because you should not be taking Tylenol when you're on antibiotics, especially when you're taking oral antibiotics, because you're going to compound the fucking effect of stressing the liver out. But this guy doesn't give a shit. He's like, you're in fucking pain, take like some Tylenol. He should be telling them to take ibuprofen. That would be a safer option. Although, you should just fucking not take anything if you're in fucking severe pain, or go to a doctor. Don't talk to him because he's not a doctor. Fucking unbelievable with the fucking Advil and shit.
Try it. What's the big deal? I do.
Yeah, what's like the big deal of destroying your fucking liver?
Do everything personally. I answer all my texts. I make all my phone calls.
He also drinks his own wine. First of all, he's full of shit. Sean Andrews, sorry, I'm gonna have to expose you here. Sean Andrews used to answer the Q&A on Muscle Development and on RX Muscle. So, and sometimes, and actually, the majority of the times, it would be a template for all of his clients, and he would just modify a couple little things there. So that's his personalization.
I answer all my emails. I can have 100 emails, it just keeps going, and if you don't knock them off, you're going to sit at the end of the day with 300 emails.
Or you can have Sean Andrews just answer them for you
in front of you. That's not fun.
At least the music is keeping me occupied, because how much fucking time we got left?
I don't know.
That was a weird cut.
So, just got done training with Dave, Jumbo Palumbo. Brutal. Very high intensity, low sets, growth results. Unbelievable for bed.
Okay, all right. Let's skip, please. Skip. I want to skip over this. Sorry, can't do it.
Shot. If you flare your head like this, you don't want to be doing this. You want the shots down. So it's almost a relax.
I haven't really trained many people at all.
What do you say?
I don't like training lots of people at the gym. I don't really have time. I haven't really trained many people at all.
That's true. So far, that's the one true thing he said in this documentary. So let it be known that 30 minutes, 58 seconds, I will concur that that's the truth.
But a lot of times, someone will come along and just say, show a lot of enthusiasm. They really want to train. They don't want me to baby them. I'm not going to be their psychologist. They want to just go to the gym and hardcore train.
It's funny, he's not noticing that like the guy is keeping his fucking neck. He's doing exactly what you told him not to do, which is shrug, but whatever.
Those situations, I'm up for it, because I do like training people. I just don't like training a lot of people because it's exhausting, and as you can see, I'm very busy.
So busy, like drinking his wine, falling asleep in the fucking chair, going to Walmart and getting 96% fucking fat-free beef. So busy. How does one find fucking time?
I feel like for me now, it's much more rewarding to pass on the knowledge. Probably through coaching and RX Muscle, I've had way more impact on the world than if I was just doing things myself.
Dude, you're just a world impactor. This guy is so important.
I guess I just enjoy passing on the knowledge.
As long as they pay you.
I have no desire to compete again, but training others keeps that inner satisfaction going.
Then why, about 3 or 4 years ago, did you say you were going to make a comeback? It's just funny how he skipped over all this, RX Muscle time, which basically defined his fucking life, and all the people that he's fucking leaving out. There's names I'm not going to bring up, but I did bring up Sean Andros and Jimmy the Bull, and, it's just a lot of important people that were supporting him to make him rich, and he screwed over a lot of people, including me, in a very fucking major way. And I'm not talking about the whole 2013 quote-unquote firing, but I am talking about just personal shit and financial shit and just backstabbing and lies and more lies and manipulation. And when it comes to women, forget about it. Just complete fucking asshole, scumbag, backstab manipulator. While he's telling you in private, you're like a son to me. You're like my brother. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what the fuck I would do without you. A couple of other weird things he said, but it's like, he's talking about the impact that he had on the fucking world because of the fucking website. Dude, what about all the personal lives that you impacted in a negative way? Should I bring up Derek Anthony? It's funny, he doesn't bring up Derek Anthony, right? Let me tell you, you should look up Derek Anthony. Derek Anthony was a staple of RX Muscle. He was the guy from Long Island. He talked like this, and he was a great fucking physique. At first, he was a little standoffish with me because he didn't know what to make of me. And then he saw I was a serious bodybuilder, and we got along. Then Dave made us do a podcast together, and that lasted for about 10 episodes until this guy opened his fucking mouth and he threatened me. I said, "Come on, let's fight." Whatever the fuck, but whatever. It didn't really matter. It didn't happen. Derek and I became close. I was one of the few people in Derek Anthony's life who actually met his father, and his father liked me, and he didn't have a good relationship with his father. Derek Anthony is no longer with us. He passed away, and he passed away because he had complications of kidney failure. He was on dialysis, so he had to be on a dialysis machine 24/7, and then he died from complications due to liver surgery. I'm going to tell you what Derek Anthony told me, and I'm not going to get to the part about why he had the complications with the liver surgery, or, why he got that surgery, or who he spoke to before he took the surgery. You can figure it out. But I will say the story that he told me about how he met Dave Palumbo. Derek Anthony was a guy, he loved going to clubs, and clubs were big, early 2000s, obviously for years before that. But in the early 2000s, he said he was at a club, and he was wearing a very tight shirt, and he was surrounded by girls. And he said this massive dude walked up to him and said, "You really shouldn't be wearing a shirt like that because girls don't like it when your arms are short off." That was Dave Palumbo. Dave Palumbo went up to a dude that was being flanked by multiple women. And trust me, I went out with Dave multiple times also. I went out with fucking Derek Anthony multiple times. This dude would walk into a club, be like, "Jeff, we'll be right back," and he would bring like 3 girls. I mean, this is just the way he was. I mean, he was very charismatic when it came to women. He had no problem getting women. This fucking guy, Dave Palumbo, comes up to this dude who's being surrounded by multiple women, and he's telling him that he shouldn't be dressing like that with a tight shirt because he wouldn't be able to get girls because girls don't like it. Think about that for a second.
Turn.
I wouldn't do it again, only because, first of all, I have injuries. I kind of reached a peak of my career where I was very, I guess, happy with what I did, and I was amazed that I was able to achieve the level of conditioning, and there was really nothing left. It wasn't like I was going to win the Olympia.
Dude, you never became a fucking pro. What do you mean win the Olympia? That video that you showed holding hands with Tony Freeman was your last show. That was your last chance to get your pro card, and you said fuck it. And the reason why you didn't compete again is because you went to jail for selling GH. I know you're going to get into that. I know you're going to twist it and say some weird shit, but that's why you got out of it. And you need to make money some other way because you weren't able to sell the steroids anymore, man.
That would be good.
Okay, McDonald's. Like I said, I spent a lot of time with Dave, so I knew him well. we would go to McDonald's. I want to see if he does the same trick here. I won't expose it until until I watch this. But he would always order a double cheeseburger and large fries, and but he would order it a very specific way, and I would go with him, and I would tell him what I liked, and he was like, no, you gotta try this, and I was like, no, I just want the fucking extra patty Big Mac, whatever the fuck. But he loved going to McDonald's, and he would go every fucking day to McDonald's. And when I say every day, okay?
This is a quick McDonald's meal. This is not a full-blown. This is holding me over for a half hour. That's right out.
He's so busy, he has time to stop by McDonald's.
This is a snack. This is only a snack.
Well, what is it?
This is like doing heroin for Dave Palumbo, eating a McDonald's double cheeseburger.
Oh, I told you, double fucking cheeseburger. And by the way, what do you mean? What do you mean? Dude, that's all he fucking ate. Every single fucking day we go to McDonald's. Double cheeseburger, large fries. By the way, supersized fries. And a Diet Coke.
McDonald's. Do the happy dance like my cat does. My arms are growing as I'm eating it. Arachidonic acid. There's so much arachidonic acid in these burgers, which is a pro-inflammatory.
What does that mean?
Substance, meaning it causes inflammation in the body. And post-workout, it's probably something
arachidonic acid.
Good to eat because that signaling of inflammation is what tells the body to heal itself, to rebuild itself.
So it's so funny that he's bringing up arachidonic acid because he used to make fun of Steve Bleckman for bringing it up. And he used to chastise Steve Bleckman for bringing it up. And now in 2025, 15 years later, he's now saying that it's actually beneficial.
That's why even though I'll eat, the majority of my meals will be clean, I try to throw in, a crappy meal here and there, like
every single day.
McDonald's once in a while.
Every fucking day.
Because it balances off all that anti-inflammation that I'm doing in my body at all times. I'll notice.
You want to stop having anti-inflammatory shit so you can bring in the inflammatory stuff? Makes sense. If you're a moron.
You know what? I'm ripped, but I feel kind of flat. I feel like I'm not getting a good pump in the gym. Maybe I'm not responding to my workouts the way I was, and it's usually diet related. It has nothing to do with hormones. It's all diet related. So I'm eating too clean. Usually.
It has nothing to do with your sleep patterns. It has nothing to do with maybe the types of food you're eating. It has nothing to do with the amount of protein you're getting. It has nothing to... No. It's just purely that you need to get a fucking cheat meal, right? So to fill out. Back in the garage. Told you about the water. Oh, this is the water for snakes. I see.
So this pied ball python is sitting on a clutch of eggs. So we'll have to pull those out in a minute. Pretty cool.
Okay, so this is funny, right? Hey, John Romano, do you remember this story? Blecky the snake got out, and back in Long Island, we were recording in his house, and he told me the snake is fucking missing. So he had these little this same exact thing. It was a fucking ball python, and as you can see, he runs a business. So still, about 12 years later, he still doesn't know how to control his fucking snakes, right? What ended up happening was that we found it behind a radiator because they like heat. So I want to see if he says the same thing, and he tells the camera guy, well, they really enjoy hiding places which are warm. So I'm guessing he's probably behind one of the vents or something, somewhere warm, somewhere hot.
There's definitely something out. Can you see the stuff on the floor there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something got knocked over. It's probably a big snake and it's knocking shit over as it's moving. A lot of times it will push one of these cages out. So if we look and see if there's any cage is pushed out, we sometimes will find where the snake is hidden.
is oddly compelling.
I smell that ransom right now.
How often does this happen?
What?
Like something dies or escapes.
It could be one. There's a fly flying around this. I know. They smell death.
Fucking guy asked the question, how often does this happen? And you see how Dave just ignored him? It's another Dave Palumbo tactic. Palumboism, if you will.
I would bet $1 million if it's over here someplace.
Why?
This is where I'm smelling it, but I don't seem to. I went through everything like a million times and. That's real. You found it.
Wow.
You found the escaped snake. This is this is a super fire diamond boa. This is a very expensive snake. I know exactly where it came from. And this is probably the one that definitely knocked over the boxes. Oh, look. Yep. I guess I pushed out a little bit. It wasn't completely clocked. And I got that.
So the guy runs a snake business, and he doesn't know how to close his own gates correctly.
All right, go back in there with your boyfriend. They see how they pip. What they do is they have a little egg tooth. And they rip through the egg. You can see the little tears in here. And then they'll eventually come out of the egg when they're ready, when they absorb the yolk sac. We got one clown right here. This is a visual clown. Wow. This is what we wanted, I think. This is a freeway, but is it a freeway clown? That's what we were trying to hit. It's always exciting when eggs are hatching because basically they're like scratch-off lottery tickets. Because
life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Palumbo is
together with certain genes, but you don't know how they're going to combine with each other. So
that's called genetics, my friend.
That's a very expensive snake right there for sure.
How much is that? Are you able to say?
$1,200.
Much of books somebody?
It's a good question. I would say anywhere from like $3,000-$4,000 that snake is probably worth. So,
the fuck out of here.
It was it's definitely no chump change for sure.
What am I looking at?
Massive, huge, and freaky. We're talking Dave Palumbo, Mr. Five Alive, nutritionally.
Holy shit, I was right about the rap song.
Species CEO, weighing in at 285 ripped, and the haters just kept forcing. It's giving a huge fuck you to the world. Let's go! Jumbo Palumbo, let's go. Jumbo Palumbo, yeah, dude, let's go. Huge, you're freaky. You think you got it in ya to be that big and hard at the same time?
Okay.
I'm not proud of the fact that I went to jail.
A bodybuilder and editor.
All right, here we go. The GH. I can't wait to hear how he fucking spins this shit.
In chief of a.
Oh, is that Abby or Bella? That's Abby.
Muscle magazine who received shipments of a counterfeit human growth hormone, then illegally sold it to bodybuilders, was sentenced Friday to 5 months federal custody.
Obviously, I've talked about the fact.
5 months. Imagine getting caught with growth hormone, fake growth hormone, with the intent to sell, and only getting 5 months, not in a maximum security fucking jail. A fucking drug dealer gets 5 months in a minimal correctional facility where he's able to write a book and, let's see if he talks about his diet that he created.
I went to prison for 5 months. It really wasn't, didn't get caught with anything. Someone basically just ratted me out. There wasn't
They ratted you out because they told you, Dave, this shit is fake. No, it's not. It's not fake. And you sold it to the wrong person. And that person then ratted you out. And then what did you do? Did you tell that fucking part of the story?
There was nothing ever found on me. It was someone was doing something wrong and they got caught, and then they kind of said, well, yeah, I was selling some growth hormone to Dave Palumbo, and this guy sent this guy growth hormone and it was fake. And I didn't even do anything with the growth hormone.
Of course not. No, see, he's innocent. He's fucking innocent.
That was sent to me, I kind of just threw it in the garbage. I was
so full of shit.
That's because I knew it wasn't good. And I only bought it from this one guy once. That's embarrassing for me. But I was always of the mindset that, I'm doing a sport that's illegal, taking steroids, taking growth hormone, I'm buying it illegally, and I'm selling it. It's really kind of sad that bodybuilding is an illegal sport.
Told you. He just admitted he broke the fucking law. He's selling fucking steroids. He sold fake growth hormone. Oh, but it wasn't mine, and I bought it from a guy, and it didn't come to me, and I threw it out. Blah, blah, all this bullshit. Then he admits that he's a fucking, that he's breaking the law. He's breaking federal laws that people go to jail for like 20 years for. A drug dealer. And he's saying, but I don't understand how come they're like illegal. They really shouldn't be illegal. But they are, Dave. That's how you made your fucking money. Unbelievable.
Because most bodybuilders are not criminals, and we don't want to, commit crimes, but we have to get the stuff that we need to compete at a level. So it's a little embarrassing.
You don't have to compete in bodybuilding. You never had it. You never had to compete in bodybuilding. But most people who are bodybuilders who take steroids to get to that size do not buy and sell and distribute illegally steroids. They take it for personal use. You were known as the fucking guru, and the reason why you know so much about steroids is because you were the go-to guy on fucking Long Island until you got caught. Okay? I know for a fact what was going on with the shit that you were doing. I know for a fact it wasn't only growth hormone. And I also know for a fact that you were the kingpin when it came to a particular area of Long Island. Everyone came to you. And you tried to make some more money by selling this fake shit because you didn't know what to do because you spent a shitload of money on it. Okay? So that's what happened. Now stop making it seem like that all bodybuilders are fucking breaking the law because they're taking steroids. You went to jail for selling it, for selling fake growth hormone, which by the way is, it's more controlled than fucking steroids are. And they knew you sold other shit. How the fuck did you get out of not going to jail for being known as the steroid fucking kingpin on Long Island? Think about that, guys.
Embarrassing in a sense. I had to come to grips with the fact that, yes, I was going to do some time in jail. And I said, you know what? I'm going to treat this 20 weeks that I'm in prison like I'm on a contest prep diet. And I ate 7 meals a day. I worked out.
He's in jail. And he's able to eat 7 fucking meals a day. And he's able to work out. And he also wrote a book called Perfect Prison Physiques, right?
I went in there prepared. I had notes from experts saying that I need hormone replacement therapy because I've been on anabolic steroids for whatever, 10 many years. Everything that I wanted to continue doing, I went in there prepared for. So when I got in prison, did they give me HRT? No.
And? What's your fucking point? Are you going to talk about the fact that you wrote a book called Perfect Prison Physiques? And that you taught people how to buy tuna packets and combine it with other foods that you get from the commissary and trade for other things to meet your fucking macros? Even though the normal person doesn't go to a minimal fucking facility for being a drug kingpin on Long Island? Fucking delusion, I swear to God.
Because they didn't believe me. So they tested me for 4 weeks in a row, and my testosterone level kept going down and down and down. Why? Because I stopped everything cold turkey before I went in there purposely. They wound up after 4 weeks putting me on hormone replacement, and I thought.
So after 4 fucking weeks, you still managed to get the prison that you were in to inject you with steroids. That's the house that I live in, by the way. That's Dave. That's the second floor of Dave Palumbo's house. I lived on the first floor.
Felt great for the rest of the time I was there. I was getting 200 milligrams of testosterone and cypionate. The compliments of the prison system delivered to me.
How much time we got left? 15, 12 minutes. I can do it. Okay.
When we talk about the illegality of bodybuilding, I mean,
it's not. Bodybuilding is not illegal. No illegality. What? That's not even a fucking word. You mean the legality? Bodybuilding is not illegal. Taking fucking steroids, yes, taking it, right? But there's leeway for people who take it and they don't sell it. You fucking sold it. And you were a major guy. You weren't a little guy. You were a fucking major guy. Stop it.
We're basically participating in a sport that uses illegal, controlled substances.
And NFL and basketball and MMA.
And to me, that's kind of weird.
It's weird because you fucking got caught.
A woman can go to the doctor and get breast.
Oh my God, breast implants and steroids, not related. The only aggregate that you have in this situation is synthol, which is not a steroid.
Implants. If she wants bigger boobs, right? She can get lip injections if she wants bigger lips, and she can get Botox if she wants to get rid of the.
Do you want to know how you get bigger muscles, Dave? Moron? By going to the fucking gym.
Wrinkles in her head. But if a man wants a bigger pecs and
you do bench presses
and biceps,
you do bicep curls.
Can't take testosterone and DECA because it's illegal.
You can take it as long as you're not fucking selling it. It doesn't mean you're not breaking the law. You're right. You're breaking the fucking law. It is a choice that you're doing if you want to be a fucking pro bodybuilder. 100% true. But the law looks the other way. Unless you start selling this shit, which is what you did.
I don't understand why we can't get prescriptions.
I don't understand. What?
For this stuff.
You can get prescriptions for it if you have a valid reason to get it, like you did with the low testosterone levels. HRT. It's been around for fucking decades.
For cosmetic enhancement. I mean, they legalize.
Dude, if you have low testosterone levels, you will be cosmetically enhanced. Stop it.
Marijuana, right? They've legalized psychedelics in certain states.
Neither one of those are anabolic hormones.
Maybe at some point they'll decriminalize anabolic.
They have decriminalized it. It's called HRT clinics.
Steroids in the future. That's my dream. I think that at some point that we're going to realize that no one would sell illegal steroids if you can go to the pharmacy and buy them.
You can get a prescription.
Bodybuilders won't be criminals anymore if they want to use stuff.
Notice, guys, please listen to his language. He's calling all bodybuilders criminals if they take steroids. This motherfucker went to jail for selling them and selling fake GH. That's why he went to jail.
It's up to them. Hopefully, at some point in the future, that happens.
How many fucking minutes do we have left? Oh, God. 11 minutes. I'm not going to make it.
Where are you from? What country are you from?
Indonesia.
All right. Notice, this guy has no time to train people. But he's going to lobster fucking goddamn bars, flirting with every fucking girl that like gives him attention, which basically is every girl he talks to because, he fishes for like 100 and then one of them comes through. And he's eating at a fucking sushi bar. He has no time though, ever. Terrible life.
A lot of people, yes.
What part?
Java.
Java, I know that.
Not so is India.
No? Oh, yeah.
India. You see the news?
Oh, India.
Why are you showing that?
My quadricep muscle in India. Why did you move here?
Because she wanted money.
Money.
Oh, for money?
Hello?
Make money. I answered for her already. Make money. What do you think people here for? Just here to eat hamburger?
I like this girl.
Get out of here.
I wanted to see how long we can make you stay here tonight. I actually have 9 more minutes I can stay here.
You really want to, Dave?
I love your company. I can't get out of here.
Okay.
Let's have a drink. Come on, guys.
Don't forget about the red wine. No red wine.
Everyone loves me except my wife.
Dave, everyone doesn't love you. That's another thing he does. Let's say that someone talks shit about him because they have a valid reason for talking shit about him. He'll say, yeah, that guy, he's the only one that says that because everyone else likes me. Right. Everyone except your ex-wife hates you, Dave? Really?
To be ex-wife.
To take up
So he's in the middle of a divorce. Got it.
all this space
Yeah.
for drive-through.
Looks like he got a pretty cheap attorney.
Horses, dog, puppies.
I paid all the estimates. Yeah. But there's $3,000 in the account.
There's a paper trail.
But yeah, we were using that joint account to pay the children's stuff.
Okay.
List all your injuries and what's the positive from each one.
All right.
See if I can remember. Well, obviously, he's probably going to talk about the Shrew Classic one, if he even says the Shrew Classic. He mentioned it to the Indonesian. I'm trying to think what he tore his biceps. I think both of them. I think he tore his tricep. He tore his gracilis muscle.
Where do we start?
Probably with the leg.
I was in India in 2000.
Here we go. I fucking told you.
2012.
He loves telling this fucking story. Now let's see if he tells the real reason why he fell down the flight of stairs. Because this guy was on fucking Long Island taking care of the website, running the shit while he was gone. Because the Shrew guy, wanted me to go, but instead of taking me, he took someone else. And the Shrew guy was like, "What the fuck happened? Where's Jeff the producer?" "Oh, no, he didn't want to come. It's too much of a hassle. Too much of a hassle."
Shrew Classic, and I finished my workout. I was washing my hands in the bathroom upstairs, and I was walking down this spiral staircase that they had in the gym. It was all made of marble. The steps were all different lengths. I slipped because one of the steps was wet.
This is why he slipped. He told me, he told other people, I think he even said it on a podcast, he fell down the flight of stairs, not because of the fucking shape of the staircase. Notice how he just said, by the way, he's a fucking germaphobe, right? He washed his hands, and he didn't want to get his fucking hands dirty again because he's a racist. So he thinks that shit in India is completely disgusting, right? He didn't want to touch the banister. So he tried to walk like this down the fucking staircase. That's why he slipped. True fucking
turn and
true fucking story. As my protein makes a special appearance.
Quad exploded.
Oh, actually, that's the one way.
That's weird that it didn't come out when whatever works right now.
So one of these, you don't have a quad anymore.
Well, this one I have a half a quad. I'm like attached here, but I don't have the outer portion. There's no attachment. If I stand like this, you probably can't tell as much, but it's definitely not. You see, I'm losing.
He loves flexing his legs for the camera.
This, whereas here, you see.
There's absolutely no fucking difference that any human being who's normal can fucking notice, except to him. He's really just showing, everyone how fucking ripped he is. Now Lizzie brings up the bicep and the gracilis.
Oh, we can't be in here at all? Why not? I'm convinced that because of this quad tear, I would have never met my wife, and I never would have met.
The fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are we talking about the same person? Your former fiance's best friend? You would have never met her? Because she used to come over quite often. Way before the Shrew Classic, my friend.
I would have never had my kids. She was a physical therapist, and she started reaching out to me regarding my recovery from my quad. Eventually, obviously, we started dating, and then we had my 3 kids. So,
is that how it happened, Dave? I have a different memory.
Maybe I never would have had children. Who knows? Everything happened.
You were actively looking for a mate for children. Multiple times. What the fuck is this? Like, what am I... Is this like the same reality that I was in before I started this shit?
For a reason. So I look at it as the ability to...
manifest?
See what... If that... I don't really want to talk about my wife. But it's true. Very deeply emotional. I can watch a movie and I can cry, but I won't cry over the death of someone because I think I don't need to. I can control that. Sometimes when you're very emotionally in touch with yourself, you kind of block it a little bit so that it doesn't overwhelm you and you can function in society. Yeah, I grew up in Long Island, New York, and
Oh, let's see if he touches this, because he told me. Let's see.
My mother won a lottery ticket, and my parents bought a house in the suburbs of Long Island. They always had the plans for me, Dave's gonna be a doctor. So, in 1972, my sister was born. She's my only sibling, and, obviously we have a very good bond. The wonderful life, right? Both parents around,
By the way, sister's awesome.
Going to the grandparents on the holidays, growing up, probably when
So what happened, Dave?
I was about 13 years old, I think it was. My mother passed out at the beach, and it turns out my mother had cancer. No one knew it. And 2 years later, she died of pancreatic cancer. Yeah, I always told people, I will never get cancer because I will not allow it into my energy field. I went for a cardiac CT scan because I was getting one every year. I found out I had a thyroid nodule. I wound up getting it biopsied. Turned out it was thyroid cancer. I immediately went to the cancer thing because that's my biggest fear, right?
It had nothing to do with all the thyroid hormone you were taking, the T3?
Life to get cancer like my mother didn't die. And I sat down and I said, I said to myself I was not going to get cancer, and I was pretty convinced of it. I said, I wonder why I got it. I think that big
Probably because of taking T3 all those years. Cytomel?
Hearing the C word was
Cytomel.
Something that I needed to hear. So, because now, what do I get to fear now? The one thing I was the most afraid of, I've been face to face with. And you know what? It wasn't that bad, because you know what I realized? I knew I wasn't going to die from it. So I had it removed, treated, and it's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 6 surgeries in the course of a couple years. Now I'm on the road to recovery, so to speak. I'm walking around, everything works right now, knock on wood, and I'm alive.
What about some other people in your life? Are they still alive?
Emotionally, I was that hard.
Retarded?
Line effect I took enabled me to, be tough when it came to dieting for a show. Be tough when I was in the gym and I didn't want to have to lift the super heavy weights, but I got under them anyway because I wanted to be the best.
Do you now feel emotionally you're someone who's easily able to say, this is something I'm really unhappy about myself, or you're not afraid to do that?
Look, when I look at Mike O'Hearn, he's a good-looking guy. He looks like he should be on a movie poster. That's a good-looking guy. Like, I don't look like Mike O'Hearn, all right? If you can be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and say, well, I'm not the best-looking guy. There's guys that are better looking than me. That guy's better than me. That guy's better than me. But you know what? I have this going for me that they don't have going for me. We all have something, right? And you have to find that something in your life, and that's key.
Which is what? Using people for their fucking talents, not paying them, and then talking shit about them after you drop them from your fucking list?
Because everyone's got something that makes them special.
I'll give my summary after this ends, because I know we're coming to the end right now.
I'm not going to look better than Mike O'Hearn physically, okay? But I probably can hold my own, talking about nutrition and supplementation.
Do you have any, really ambitious dreams still?
I always had this feeling I was going to win a lottery ticket. I don't know why. So I don't know if I will or not. It's just so I think about that sometimes, and I say, well, what if I did win? What would I do with the money? I'm not going to go out there and buy a million just material items, because that's not me. I already have what I want anyway. So it would have to be a project.
In a sentence, what's Dave Palumbo's legacy?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Forgetting about all the people that got you to the fucking point where you can be relaxed.
It's hard for me to
to give credit to the people in your life?
Say who I am, and I don't know, maybe it's a difficult question to answer, but I think my legacy will just be that I was a guy who always told the truth.
You're so full of shit.
I think that'll be my legacy. I think it will be that he was a truth teller, and that's a pretty good legacy, I don't know. I don't like that answer. I mean, maybe I can come up with a more profound answer to the question, but
you're not dead yet, Dave. You can still reconcile with some people that you screwed over. Maybe that should be your next phase.
depends what I'm motivated.
Your fucking swan song.
I do cards too. If it's around their birthday, I make their own cards. I'll draw pictures of my kids, something like that. I say to myself, what was my father's legacy? And probably my father's legacy was, I think his legacy was really my sister and I, at the end of the day.
I'm going to tell you what your dad's legacy is, because your dad was an incredible fucking man. An incredible man. Salvatore Palumbo. One of my favorite people ever that I will ever meet on earth. And I had a great relationship with Sal. If you remember Dave, we used to go every Sunday to the sushi, right? And he used to talk to me, and it would just be us three a lot of the times. And we shared a lot of interest in art. We shared a lot of philosophical thoughts together. And let me tell you what that man's legacy is. That man's legacy is that despite all of the hardships that he went through, because don't forget, it wasn't just you that went through that, and that's a terrible thing for anyone to ever go through. This man emerged one of the most intelligent, hysterical, funniest older people I've ever met in my life. And I saw him as basically an uncle. In many ways, he saw me as his adopted nephew. You know this to be true. And he was a great fucking guy. So the legacy that he left for me personally was that Salvatore Palumbo, despite everything that fucking happened in his life, he still managed to do everything that he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted. And he fucking taught me that it doesn't matter what anyone else fucking says or does. Follow your fucking path and you'll do whatever the fuck you want in life. So that's what I would say about your father. Let's see what you say.
Yeah, I think my legacy, now that I reconsider, it's great to be acknowledged by the masses of people, but at the end of the day, they don't really give a shit about me. I think how my kids go into the future and what their mindset is, and how the things that they can achieve in life, I'd like to believe that I had a positive influence on what their future will be, and that will be my legacy, just like my father's legacy was what my sister and I became.
Please don't blame your dad for what you became. Your dad was a fucking great guy. But I do like your answer about your kids, and I hope that's true. So far, 2 things in this documentary vlog that I agree with. I forget the other one. What? Oh God. Okay, is that it? Good. Starring. Do we have a post-credit scene? No. I knew it.
Saying beans, good for your heart. The more they eat, the more you fart. I haven't really been farting, but I think it's been changing my bowel habits a little bit. I think beans. I've eaten too many beans.
Terrible.
Hold on, I got a burp.
All right, I can't take it. All right, so I'm actually done with watching this. We'll just leave that here, okay? There you go. All right, guys. So I watched it. You watched it with me. This is the first time I ever watched it in its entirety. I didn't even see clips of it, but I watched it from start to finish. What is my assessment? Well, I have a couple of questions. Number 1, Dave, what the fuck happened to all those years with muscle development? Number 2, what happened to all those years with RX Muscle? Because those 2 periods of your life is what defined you and gave you all the money that you have now. It's what allowed you to start a family. It's what allowed you to have kids. It's what allowed you to have people like me, a radio professional, come in there and revolutionize podcasting by taking the microphone that basically no one knew about. No one ever knew about the microphone that I installed into your studio, creatively came up with a way to broadcast live from your fucking house. Then I built out the Species Studio. I didn't build it physically. What I mean is I put all the equipment in there because Romano's the one that built it. Romano built the desk and everything else. Then you put the posters on the wall. All right? All that shit. That is what got you to the point where you're now making a video with no one like me or Paletia or Andros or Colette or even a few people that I don't fucking like, but I have to bring them up because I know that they were with you. But so I'm not even gonna bring them up. But I mean, a shout out to fucking Steve Bleckman for giving you a second chance after pulling, after getting out of prison. How about mentioning that John Romano was the guy that saved your fucking life? So this wasn't a documentary. This was a narcissistic biography and a vlog. And yes, it is true that the music was interesting. But I know where you got it from. You got it from Pumping Iron. I like the fact that you want your legacy to be that you're going to be a great father to your kids. That's fantastic. That's very admirable, actually. I don't see any growth. I see the exact same Dave Palumbo that I walked away from in 2013. I see the same manipulative, lying scumbag that you were to people right now in this video. And it's funny, you say you're in the middle of a divorce, you say that everyone loves you, which is horseshit, besides your ex-wife, who's not your ex-wife. She might be your ex-wife. You file for papers. You know, I'm sure you're going to finalize the divorce. There's a reason why she chose to get out of that relationship. We don't talk about that. But you need to bring up the fact that everyone loves you. And you say you have no time, but yet, you know, you're spending your time buying sushi, lobster, and whatever the fuck the other shit was. Oh, going to McDonald's. You have all these businesses that you're making money from. At least you shout out Jimmy Pelleccia twice, even though you don't really say his fucking name. You do show it on the screen because of the video that he did with you. I don't know why you cut the other guy out of your video. You retell the fucking story and you rewrite history about the GH stuff. But what's more shocking to me is that you bring up nothing about the legacy of RX Muscle. Yes, it started with the magazine. The magazine was a great idea. The magazine was a popular underground steroid magazine that also had great articles from motherfucking people that are incredibly fucking smart and scientists, actually. It was very good. And you took that magazine and you took the website and you got me to come on there and bring my radio expertise, 10 fucking years of being a radio producer, executive producer for major people in New York, take all of my equipment knowledge, all of my radio broadcasting knowledge, and be the first high quality ever podcast in the fucking planet that sounded the way that it did, with me doing all the voices, which, by the way, hey, you want to hear it now? Heavy Muscle Radio with Dave Palumbo and John Romano. Yeah, okay, you know, there was no fucking voices there. I was the one who did the fucking voices for that shit. He didn't even know what he wanted. He's like, Jeff, I want to do this show called Heavy Muscle Radio. I want like death metal. Well, when you say death metal, I'm going to give you fucking death metal. He's like, so, yeah, I play him some death metal. And he's like, no, that's not really death metal. He thought Slipknot was death metal, so I played him Slipknot, and that's why the Slipknot song is in there, because of me. I played in multiple bands as a drummer. But anyway, so I come in there, I revolutionize podcasting, doing multiple podcasts, getting paid shit for 3 months. The average cost of a podcast producer right now that did the shit that he did for you is in the $100,000 range. You never you never pay me anything, dude. Like, you screwed me and you started paying other fucking people just so that you paid a girl once to fucking stay with you and at your house. You know, we have a name for that. But she was actually a nice girl, but you paid her as a fucking consultant $3,000 a month to fucking stay with you? Don't worry, I'm not going to say the fucking name, but you and I know who that is, right? You start taking money that you say you don't fucking have, pocketing it for yourself. You make Romano move out from Florida to Long fucking Island, but then he can't make the rent. So do you tell me he can fucking stay for free? Nope, you kicked his ass out. He had to move back to fucking Florida, still work for you. Then you got him kicked out of the IFBB shows, and you didn't vouch for him because they were threatening to shut down RX Muscle. So you said, well, I'll just kick out John Romano and don't worry, he's not going to come anymore, right? You weren't liked in the fucking industry because of the shit that you were saying and doing, but we still managed to build a fucking website. You, me, fucking Andros, we were the fucking central core of doing everything for you. Everything. Like I said, you had a couple of people on the website that were working remotely, and eventually you all met. And, you know, it was cool for a little while until you started bringing in some outside people because I wanted more and Sean wanted more. Sean told me, you should get the fuck out because this guy is going to screw you. I didn't know. You know, I still trusted you. Loyalty is everything. You're not even loyal to your own fucking words, Dave. Right? So the reason why I didn't want to watch this is because I knew all this shit was going to come up, and trust me, I'm holding back so much shit. But the main thing that I get out of this is that he is an egomaniac. He still is. He's a fucking narcissist. He can't even keep his fucking family together. And everything that he ever got was from two sources: muscular development and the old RX Muscle that I was a part of. And that's a fucking fact. I'm glad that Romano is still with you because Romano's loyal to a fucking fault. I'm glad Jimmy the Bull is still out there. Lee Priest can go fuck himself. And Chris Aceto, I don't know if he's still around. Probably one of the best guys ever in your fucking life to help boost that website also. But you don't thank anyone from RX Muscle. You don't tell the real fucking story about the foundation of what RX Muscle was with the podcast and everything. and you don't go through that. I mean, even other people you should be bringing up that right now are fucking struggling, that you watched go to jail, that you ridicule, and then you try to reach out to them after they come out of jail, and you're like, I don't know why he doesn't want to talk to me. Well, because you talk shit when he was in fucking prison. That's why. So, now that's out of my system, thank you guys for sending me all those fucking DMs begging me to watch this and give a fucking review. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. I don't even know if I'm going to take this video and like leave it available for anyone to watch. I just wanted to do it live so that people saw that I'm actually going to give my real opinion, not scripted or not written. And by the way, someone wanted me to do this to see if I was, if this was really me. But Heavy Muscle Radio. What else did he used to say? Something with John Romano. Right, starring John Romano. Oh, that's right. Dave Palumbo, John Romano, Chris Aceto, Heavy Muscle Radio. There you go. As you see, it was the real voice. We ain't no bullshit, we change our voice in the real time. There ain't no fucking machine here. I'm not pushing no buttons or doing anything afterwards, you know what I mean? Because that's the way it is. And for Diego, it's the same shit. But that's okay. Jimmy the Bull, call me back. Come on. Like, you told me something was going on, but then you don't call me back. Anyway. All right. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I have exactly 7 viewers, and no one wanted to interact, so there you go. So have a good night. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, well, go fuck yourself.